Right, Senator Singh.
Well, the worst-kept secret has all been revealed today. Who would have thought that we would be, in some way shocked to hear that the coalition government has decided to balk on the Finkel Review's clean energy target, the worst-kept secret that Australians have been waiting to hear has come to fruition. And not only has the Prime Minister turned his back on his own chief scientist, he has indeed, in doing so, of course, braced the former Prime Minister, Tony Abbott's vision of Australian energy, which brings Australia's energy policy back to the 1950s. But what is really unclear is what this new energy policy of the government's is really all about, because we are hearing conflicting views when it comes to detail, as usual, by this Turnbull government. Now, we've had the AMC CEO, Mr John Pearce, who today told Sky News that there are different modelling scenarios when it comes to the National Energy Guarantee. So this is where Australians are again completely bewildered by what this government's policy is, because we know that we've heard from the Prime Minister and indeed the Energy Minister that they have been spruiking an average of $115 annual price reduction on power bills under these new energy reforms. But now we hear from the AEMC's John Pearce that there are different modelling scenarios, and it may be indeed as low as $25 a year. $25 a year, according to some confidential modelling. So what is the reality here? How can this government try and hoodwink the Australian people in believing there will be a saving of $115 a year when a very preeminent individual in the name of John Pearce from the AEMC that the government has been relying on has made it very clear there are different scenarios, and a scenario as low as $25. That just completely blows this policy out of the water, and all of the rhetoric that Malcolm Turnbull and Minister Josh Frydenberg and indeed the Leader of Government in the Senate, Senator Brandis, have been spruiking. And that is why today Labor asked pertinent questions to the detail of what this is all about. And indeed, I did ask questions, Senator Brandis, around investment in renewables and around investment in jobs, because we rely very much on some of the analysis such as Ernst & Young, which has said Labor's 50% renewable target will create 28,000 jobs, whereas Prime Minister Turnbull has turned his back on renewables and therefore turned his back on thousands of new renewable energy jobs. So not only are we losing out on jobs, we're also losing out on the savings that this government continues to rely on because of what I have just alluded to in the Senate and made clear in the Senate, that the Australian Energy Market Commission, that's the AEMC's chair, John Pearce, has made it very clear that there are different modelling scenarios, and under one scenario he has made clear that the savings for families will be just $25 a year in 2020. Oh, what a great policy this is. What a great energy policy this is that this government is trying to hoodwink the Australian people with. Well, the only one that is buying this policy, the only one who's probably cracking open the champagne right now, is former Prime Minister Tony Abbott. Because let's face it, he is the one that's still really running this country. He is the one that Malcolm Turnbull continues to capitulate to. He is the one, along with the other hard right members in the coalition, that this government has completely sold out to. And Senator Brandis, you should be ashamed and you should be embarrassed, because I know you're not one of those hard right members of the coalition, but in doing nothing and in going along with them, you certainly have sold out yourself, as has the Prime Minister. But not only selling out on what's important for Australia to be a leader in energy and renewable energy and in the right energy mix for the country.
Thank you, Senator
but
Singh.
also
Your time
on
has
hoodwinking
expired.
Australians in the process.
So the question